Power BI free versus Power BI paid version. Is it worth it, the paid version? And what's best for your application? As you will see today, there is no one solution for everything. Maybe for your application, you need the paid version, and maybe the free version is enough. And both versions have their own advantages. So what we are going to go through today is we are going to see the difference between the Power BI service and the Power BI Pro, and you are going to see different examples about how different manufacturing companies are using each version differently. And essentially, you will see me talking a lot about Power BI. You will see me making posts about Power BI, speaking about Power BI a lot. And especially for manufacturing, there is a lot of advantage. And I will give you an example from when I was 6 years ago when I started my experience manufacturing. And back then, there was no Power BI. I didn't even know Power BI. It was existing. So when we wanted to do some data analytics, we went in a conventional way. We asked for an IT company to create a dashboard for us, and that required a lot of coding. And the problem it was, since it required a lot of coding, it was expensive. A project like that can cost from 20 to 50,000 euro. And when you bid code, actually what happens is that when you create a system, it's usually extremely rigid because you can't really change it that much and you can't really put that much. Customizing the dashboard requires a lot of effort. And so what happens is that our process adapt to the program that the company created. And basically, when we did that, the we didn't really use the program because it was so rigid that we had only surface level information. And so what we did, I realized about the Power BI. With the Power BI, I started doing the same work with Power BI. And what happened is that with Power BI, I didn't really need to code. It was very easy. It's more affordable because okay, I learned Power BI and I did it myself, but the project with Power BI can start from 500 euro because there is no coding involved. And the number one reason why I suggest Power BI for manufacturing is the flexibility. It's so flexible. You can do whatever you want. You can calculate the cost in a specific way that is adapted to your industry. You can see the details of the details of the details of your process very clearly and in a way that makes sense, and you can have your insights quickly and as available as possible. Instead, when you buy conventional dashboards that require a lot of coding, in order to add details, it's very complicated. It takes a lot of time, and usually you may never have it. With Power BI, you can have as much flexibility as possible, and that's why I suggest for manufacturing. And so, what we're going to learn today, we're going to do the different Power BI options, the free and the paid version. We're going to see the ideal Power BI structured for your industry. You will see examples. You will see how to create the different structures for the different options, and you will see step by step way how I set up Power BI systems for each version differently. And finally, you will see two realistic examples and what is its example really need in the end, which version, the free and the paid version. And as you will see two examples from real case. You will see examples from actually leads and clients that I have. And but before we go on, for everybody that's following me, let me know where you come from, where you see me. If you see me from Europe, if you see me from United States, from India, from Italy, from Greece, let me know. And write down in the comments your city or your country. And if you want to know about me, I live in Treviso right now. I'm Greek, but I live in Treviso, in this beautiful city that you can see here. It's 30 minutes from Venice, and it's a heavy industrial area. And since it's a heavy industrial area, this is where I took all the information I'm going to share with you right now. And I see nobody writing in the comments. Some people will write soon, but I will keep going on with the presentation. So I will show you the two different versions of the Power BI. So the first version is the Power BI desktop. Okay, the Power BI desktop, how does it work? You just need to download the Power BI on your computer from Microsoft. It's free. And what happens is that you load your data inside Excel, SQL Server, text files, SharePoint, and then you store this data or this Power BI on your drive or a common folder, on a folder that everybody that you want to consume this dashboard will have. Maybe in your company you have a common folder that has been created from the IT, or if you're a smaller company, you can store it even in the Google Drive. And this is what I have done. In this case, you can see the screenshot. This is from an Access client that we store it on the Google Drive. Everybody that has access to this Google Drive can see the Power BI. And when you do that, you have to make sure that all the files, the Excel files, text files that you are going to use, everybody should have access to them. They should be in the same folder. And basically, it works a little bit like that, right? Like you open the dashboard, and everybody that opens the dashboard needs to have access to the database. This is obligatory. And every time I open my dashboard, I just click refresh and I see the latest data. It can take 5 to 10 minutes to load the data, or even less. It depends on how much data you store. And basically, when you have this approach, this is the free approach, and you actually have real-time data. You see the latest data because you're very autonomous. You can every time you click, you see um, the real data that you are storing. And so basically, what happens when you use the free version of the Power BI, it's free. You can update autonomously, which means that you can see your data live. It's accessible only from computer. You cannot really see anything from the phone or the tablet. Maybe from the tablet, if it is structured correctly. And basically, it has limited data storage. As I told you, every time you open the dashboard, you have to click refresh, which means you have to click to refresh all the data set. And if you have a lot of data, more than 1 year, it may block. It may take more time than you're expecting. And I suggest to have data of actually less than a year if it's possible. And the drawback with Power BI Desktop is that it's difficult to share. Everybody that that wants to consume the dashboard needs to have the Power BI Desktop, and needs to have the Power BI Desktop, and you can't really share it easily. Everybody needs to have access to the folder, and then they have to click and they wait for the Power BI to open and go on like that. And that's the difference with the Power BI paid version. Because the Power BI paid version, the Power BI service, is a little bit different in the sense that, yes, you can load your data from the SharePoint or the SQL Server or from the web or even images. You can't really store data from Excel, but from local Excels and from text files, because this is going to block um, the updates. And it's stored as a link. It's not stored on your computer. It's stored as a link. It's stored as someone has to. If someone has the link of your dashboard, can see what you can see your dashboard basically. And how it works, the paid version of the Power BI is that you have scheduled updates. You can say up to 8 times a day when you want the dashboard to be updated. And this is an advantage because everybody that opens the dashboard can consume directly the data, and it's very good if you are tracking KPIs, especially daily KPIs, or if you don't really need to see um, real-time data at the moment. And the biggest advantage of the paid version is something that Power BI calls an incremental refresh. I don't know if you can really see my screen right now. And you can store data from basically unlimited data, because what happens with the Power BI is that you are able to store the data from the previous years. For example, here, as you can see, this is a real example, and I don't know if you can really see very clearly, but it has data from 2022. And you can store data from basically the previous years. And every time you do the refresh, it refreshes only the last 3 to 5 days. It doesn't refresh the whole data set. With the Power BI desktop, you have to, when you click refresh, it refresh the whole data set, so you cannot store data more than 1 year of data. And that's the big difference. And that's why sometimes Power BI desktop can be very limited for some applications. And basically, this is from the Microsoft website, and this is the pricing. And the pricing is with the Power BI paid version is everybody that has to consume the dashboard needs Power BI Pro, which costs 13.10 euro per month per user. And basically, I think this is, if you are just starting, this is the best version for you. There is always the premium, the 22.5, which has some extra um, extra capabilities, but I don't really think that someone that's just starting needs them. And also there's the Power BI embedded, when if you are a corporate environment, you have a specific pricing for you. For example, if you have, I don't know, like 500 users, you may want to go for the embedded because you don't want to pay for every single user 13 euro. And but what I would suggest for someone that's starting right now and decides to go for the paid version, the Pro is perfect. It allows you to update your data 8 times a day, and just make sure that everybody that needs to consume the dashboard needs to have the Pro, not just the person that creates them. And so, if we want to summarize, what happens with the Power BI service is that it's paid. There is a scheduled update, which means that like 8 times a day, I can update automatically my dashboard, and it's more professional like this. It's accessible from the phone, computer, and tablet. There is a specific version of the dashboard that can be created for the phone and for the tablet, and it has unlimited data storage because there is the incremental refresh that help us store data from even 15 years ago. It doesn't really matter because as I told you, you store the data in the system, the historical data in the system, and every time you click refresh, you refresh the latest, the last 3 to 5 days. And it's very easy to share because as long as the person who wants to consume the data, the dashboard has Power BI Pro, you just share the link and then just open it. They don't even need to have Power BI Desktop to tell you. And if I want to do a comparison between the two, and there is, as long as it has to do with the update, desktop is autonomous and it's manual. And if you really need real-time visualization, this is actually very good because every time you click your refresh, you just see the latest data. But with the service, you have scheduled refreshes. It's 8 times a day if you have the Pro version. And it's great if you don't really need if you want near real-time visualizations. The storage, what about the storage? The desktop, you store usually the desktop in the common folder or in a drive, not just in the computer. And when it comes to service, you go for the cloud. It's stored in the cloud and online. And the cost, desktop is free and service is 13.10 euro per user per month. When it comes to storage size, you can store, as I told you, you can store maximum 1 year, not because there is a limitation, but because every time you click refresh on the desktop, you have to refresh the whole data set you're using. But when it comes to service, you are unlimited. Why you're unlimited? Because you store the historical data on the system, and then every time you refresh automatically, you refresh only the latest 3 to 5 days. And the access, you can have access from your computer with a desktop, but with the service, you have access from the phone, tablet, and computer. And that's the real difference. And I would like to ask everybody that's looking at me right now, which version are you using? Are you using just the desktop version, or are you using the service version? And what I'm gonna show you now for everybody that's watching is, okay, now I showed you the theory, right? But right now I'm going to show you two examples, two real examples, detailed examples from real case scenarios and what each scenario needs to do for their application. And keep in mind that if you have the free version, okay, um, you have to follow this one, right? If you have the paid version, you can have a hybrid approach. So you have a little bit some data you show them with the paid version, so that is updated automatically, and some others you may want to go for the advantages of the free version. You can store your dashboard in the system um, in the common folder and just consume it there. So if you're ready, we are going to see the two examples. So, first example, we're talking about a small factory that monitor orders in real time. Okay. So, what happens is that I am the plant manager of a very small factory and I just want to know where my orders are in which machine. Okay. And I have the order 1, 2, 3. And basically, what I want to do is I want to monitor how much scrap I'm doing for its machine, for its order, how much euro per scrap I lose, and when it entered its machine, the order. In this case, okay, I need real time. Okay, I can't really update my dashboards every eight times a day. I just need every time I open my dashboard to see exactly what happened before. And also, if it's a small factory, what happens is that you don't have many stakeholders. And so probably it's just the plant manager, the, the, uh, the technical manager, or some collaborators, but there are going to be maximum 5 people that are going to see the dashboard. And in this case, I would suggest Power BI desktop. You create a Power BI, you store it in the drive. If you're a small factory, you may be more flexible and you can have your Google Drive. And every time you open the dashboard, you click refresh and you have the latest orders. And also, one very important thing is that if you just want to see the orders where they're going, you need only 3 months of data. You don't really need years and years of data. So Power BI desktop doesn't really limit you, because when you click refresh, it's gonna refresh a small data set. It's not gonna store refresh years of data. And so you don't really need the incremental refresh that the paid version is giving you. So in this example, I would go for the desktop version. Second example, this is, let's say that I am in a corporate environment and I want to monitor my supplier rating per year. Okay, so let's say that I'm in a corporate and I have 50 suppliers and they bring me different components and I just want to know, okay, in a year scenario, in the whole year, how many times they gave me good quality, how many times they give me good delivery, and create a rating for them, and decide in the end of the day, okay, do we need to keep going on with the supplier or do we need to change the supplier? And when it happens here, is that you may want historical data in order to take a decision because you may want maybe the not only this year but 5 years before. You want to see the whole history of the supplier before you decide if you want to keep going on with them, if you want to replace them, or if you want to keep them. And this means that you may need the incremental refresh possibilities of the paid version of the Power BI. Why do you need the incremental refresh? Because with incremental refresh, you can store in the system the 5 years, and every day or every hour, you refresh only the last 5 days. So you don't overload the system, but you keep all your data inside your system and they're all available. And something you cannot really do with the desktop because remember with the desktop, every time you click refresh, you want to refresh your data, um, you basically refresh the whole data set. So if you store data from 5 years, you're going to block the system. Another thing is that if you are in a corporate environment, you probably have a lot of stakeholders. You need to share this dashboard with everybody. You need to share it with quality, supplier quality, plant managers, and purchasing. Maybe with some people that handle the suppliers. Even I don't know, different quality engineers. So you probably have 20 to 30 people that need to consume the dashboard. And in this case, asking everybody to download the Power BI desktop and going to the common folder and open and every time to click refresh, it's going to be time consuming. You just want to share the link and they open the link and then just see the data. That's it. And the other thing here is that when you monitor suppliers, you want to take decisions based on a lot of data, and you don't really need real time. You don't really need whenever you open your dashboard to see the progress. You just want, okay, you want to see, okay, what happened in the last 5 years. And in this case, updating 8 times a day is actually perfect. You don't really need to update every time you open the dashboard. And for this particular application, you need to have the Power BI paid version because how else are you going to see data from 5 years of the suppliers if you don't have the incremental refresh from Power BI? So as I showed you, first version, small factory, real time, requires real time, has a lot of flexibility and not many users, can easily use the desktop and never go to the paid version, except if they want to see their data on their phone or if they want to make it a little bit more elegant, but it's not necessary. From the other side, if you are in a corporate, a lot of users that need to see the dashboard, if you need to store data for 5 years, you need the paid version and it doesn't cost much and it's going to save you a lot of time and money. So that's the presentation for me. And I hope that you get a lot of value out of this. I put a lot of effort to create that. And basically, I would like to here I am. I put a lot of value. I hope that you got a lot of value out of this. I hope that it's clear for your application what type of the Power BI you're going to use. And let me know if you have any questions. You can write them in the comments and you can even chat me or or you can write them even if you're online, even if you are offline, even if this live will finish. And if you have no questions, I will let you go and have an amazing weekend. So I see no questions. And so I will leave you here and I wish you a very beautiful weekend. And remember, it doesn't mean because you have to pay for the Power BI that's better. There are two different advantages and disadvantages, and you don't have to waste money if you're not going